UFC 189 conference call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I'd like to turn the conference over to Mr. Dave Scholler. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, John. Hello to all of our media and hello to all of our fans listening live on UFC.com. This is the UFC 189 media conference call, UFC 189 next Saturday night. Chad Mendes versus Conor McGregor for the interim featherweight title, and Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald for the for the welterweight title. All four participants are on the call, and John, without further ado, let's go ahead and go to the first question.
Thank you. If you'd like to signal to ask a question, you may do so by pressing the star key, followed by the digit 1 on your touch-tone telephone. If you're joining us on a speakerphone, please make sure that your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Once again, that is star 1 if you'd like to signal, and we'll pause for a moment to assemble the queue. And we'll take our first question from Ron Kruk with Inside MMA.
Hey guys, thanks for the time today. I'd like to begin with a question to Conor McGregor. Conor, you are going from preparing for Jose Aldo, a Muay Thai and stand-up fighter, to facing a very strong wrestler in Chad Mendes. Did you have to completely blow up your strategy and game plan? Give us a little insight on that.
I just talk, yeah. I don't have a game plan. I just go in there formless, rootless, cold, and that's it. It does not matter who was in front of me or what style or what approach they have. My approach will win the fight.
Conor, a quick follow-up. Was there any thought of not accepting this fight with Chad Mendes, or was that, and if the answer is no, why not?
Not one thought. The approach for me was I came in and I told them that I was going to destroy everyone in the division. One by one, I would get every single one of them. I said that time and time again. It was never about the champion. It was never about any of that. It was about me destroying every single one of these featherweights and essentially making it a one-man division. So it doesn't matter what way it happens, whether it's Jose first, Chad first. They're all going to get it. Every single one of them are going to get it.
And my final question, Conor, the UFC just announced that they'll be back in Ireland October 24th. Have they spoken to you about that event possibly being a featherweight unification fight with Aldo in Dublin if you are to get by Chad Mendes next weekend?
They said, they didn't say, I spoke with Lorenzo 2 days ago about it, and he was trying to say, well, we want bigger stadiums, because this is like in the O2, which is like a 9,500 seat stadium in Dublin, so he wants me on a bigger one, but I'm saying you don't have a show in my hometown and not have me on it, so most certainly I want to be on that card, so we will see what way it plays out, but I definitely, anytime the UFC rolls into my town, I'm on that card.
Very good. Thank you. Final question just to Chad Mendes. Chad, once it was official that Aldo was out, how long of a training camp will you have had preparing for Conor McGregor?
I've been preparing for Conor McGregor since the first time I've seen this dude fight in the UFC. This is a guy that I knew was, he's going to talk his way up to the top. He beat every person they put in front of him. This is time for me to get in there and do, what I've trained for my entire life, and that's become the champion. I live a healthy lifestyle. I stay in great shape year-round. I never let my weight get too far out of control. And, for me, taking anything on, 3 weeks, this is perfect for me, especially fighting a guy like Conor. This is a guy that I know I can beat, and I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do that.
Thanks for the time, guys. We'll see you in Vegas.
And we'll take our next question from Matt Jewell with Boston.com.
Hi, my question is for Conor and Chad. Conor, as seen in Boston, the Irish fans come out in droves, wherever you fight. And there's certainly going to be a lot of them out there for you in Vegas on fight night. Do you find it an advantage having sort of like, your countrymen rooting for you when you're on foreign soil? And for Chad, do you think the Americans will show up, or be as vocal on fight night for you when you guys throw down?
It's definitely an advantage I don't think people can understand what it's like until you're inside that octagon and the screaming fans are there. They're in your face all week. They're in your face. It's essentially like entering a bear pit. So I don't think people understand that until it's too late and they are bang in the middle of it, and I'm pressing forward and I'm banging shot after shot until eventually they crumble. So it's most certainly an advantage for me.
I think this is a great advantage, and I do believe that the Americans, I believe a lot of these Brazilians, are going to be backing me up as well. I have a lot of fans, a lot of family, a lot of friends, people that are rooting for me, and a lot of people want to see me destroy Conor.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
And once again, as a reminder, it is *1 if you'd like to signal to ask a question. We'll take our next question from Damon Martin with Fox Sports.
First question is for Conor. Conor, yesterday we saw the news with Jose Aldo, come out kind of suddenly. But in your own head, had you already thought that Aldo was going to drop out of the fight? Is that something you had contemplated since you heard about the rib injury?
I've been contemplating it since long before the rib injury. Long before. As soon as the fight was announced, I've been contemplating it. I knew, like I said before, the eyes never lie, and anytime I looked into that man's eyes, I saw fear, I saw glass. So I anticipated he would not show up, and when he got his opportunity to pull, he pulled. So it's something I expected. But I don't blame the man. I was going to fucking butcher him, rip him limb from limb. So I probably wouldn't want to face that either. So it is what it is.
With that said, you mentioned earlier that it was never about Aldo. It was about the title and about obviously beating every featherweight out there. But is there some part of you that feels like there is a score to be settled with Aldo when he comes back?
100%. If he mans up, we should most certainly get it on. But I don't know whether he will be back. Like I said, he's gone running, and I don't think he'll be back.
So you think that's it? Do you feel like this fight then is for the real featherweight title?
If a man pussies out, and he has pussied out time and time again, he's pulled out of contests time and time again. I mean, the medical reports state that he is fit to fight. So there's no more question. You're fit to fight, and you're not going to fight. The belts rightfully should be stripped, and this is for the real featherweight belt.
Awesome. Thank you, Conor.
And we'll take our next question from Aidan O'Donoghue with Irish Sun newspaper.
Hi there. I have a question for Conor. Sorry. Conor, you've had a longer training camp than Chad has, but from his point of view, this came along, was unexpected, and he's happy to have this fight. So do you think your longer training camp is going to benefit you, or maybe he's going to have a shot in the arm from getting this opportunity?
No, I have been in fight camp since I'm 8 years of age. I am prepared for this. I've been preparing for this moment for a long, long time, and I don't really pay attention to how long he has or how long he hasn't had. I just look at his past performance, and I feel he is. He's in the wrong weight division, I feel he gasses too quick. That's what I see happen. I see exchanges early, I see him gasping for breath, and I see me butchering his facial structure after that until I take the victory.
Okay, thanks, Conor. And one question for Chad. Chad, you previously described yourself as Mike Tyson of the division with a mean blast double leg. How do you think your striking is going to compare with Conor's?
I think my striking is going to be great. Conor's never faced anyone like me before. I have the athleticism, the strength, the power, the speed, and I have wrestling to put him on his back and finish this fight. This fight is mine.
Okay, thanks, guys.
And we'll take our next question from Jose Olivar with Sacramento Bee.
Thank you. This question is for Chad. Hey, Chad, I know you found out about this fight, fairly recently here, but could you just talk about, so is Dwayne Ludwig going to be in your corner for this fight, or have you been working with him at all to prepare you for this fight? I know it's last minute, but have Have you gotten the chance to work with him, or are you going to work with him at all?
No, Dwayne left us. Dwayne lives in Colorado now. Dwayne, he doesn't work at Team Alpha Male anymore. I've been working with new head coach Martin Campman, and I have a great stand-up coach, Joey. We have all these great guys here at Team Alpha Male that I train with every single day. So I have plenty of knowledge and plenty of years in the sport. So I'm feeling good.
Gotcha. And so could you just kind of talk about as far as when you found out about this fight? I know you talked about how you kind of felt for Frankie Edgar, not being chosen or not being tapped to replace Aldo. Could you just talk about that? Did you feel at all that when you found out that Aldo was injured, did you know that you were going to get a call right away, or was there any doubts in your mind that you were going to get a phone call?
No, within the news breaking, within 24 hours, I was in Vegas talking to Dana. So, right away, I knew it was me and Frankie. They're right there at the top. I thought there might be a possibility, but this shot is mine. I talked to Dana, and we made it happen. Told him, give me that contract. Let's sign this baby right now, and we did. So, Frankie, he's a tough guy. He's up there. He's beat some great guys his last few fights. He's right there in the mix. But I just knocked out a guy that took Aldo 5 rounds in the first round. So I feel like I deserve it. I had fight of the year with him last year. I think a couple small things changed. We even have that fight in the States, and I possibly win that fight. So I'm right there.
Gotcha. And last question for you: if you do win this fight, what's the plan? Do you want to defend your title if Aldo doesn't get back in time, or do you plan on just waiting for him and kind of unifying the title?
I'm down to do whatever, man. I'm focused on winning this fight. Once I get that belt, whatever the hell the UFC wants me to do, I'm in there to fight. I'm in to beat the best. I think a fight with Frankie would be pretty damn fun for the fans to watch. And I'd always Frankie's a guy that I've looked up to and watched fight for a long time. I love his style. I love his pace, his tenacity, and that's a guy that I would love to get in there and fight. So it's ultimately up to the UFC, though.
All right. Thanks, Chad.
And we'll take our next question from Brett Okamoto with ESPN.
Thanks for the time, guys. A couple questions for you, Chad. Obviously, this was a big opportunity. It wasn't one that you were going to turn down. What is the biggest challenge, though, about going into a 5-round, big title fight in Las Vegas, headlining the card on just 2 weeks' notice? Is it trying to get timing? Is it trying to get your cardio up? Is it cutting the weight? I mean, what would you say is the single most difficult part about it?
I wouldn't pick out one single difficult thing. Everything's, pretty much right on track where it would be if I just went through a full training camp. I don't stop training. I don't just go through a camp fight and then, completely leave the gym and never see it again and camp again. This is a training year round. This is our job. This is what we're, made to do. This is what we're doing for our livelihood, and I love doing it. So, I felt ready. I've been training. I've been hitting it hard. I got the call. We're 3 weeks out. At that point, it's just fine-tuning, getting that weight down. And I said before, I don't get too far away from my weight. My fight weight, 15, 20 pounds max, and, for me, when you get a call like that, you jump all over it, and I'll be ready.
And I've seen in some previous interviews you've done that you're not going to go into this fight emotional, but you have said that some of he has said has made it personal for you, and I wondered if you could expand on that. We know he's called you short, but you don't seem like the kind of guy who would really take that to heart. What has he said exactly that has rubbed you the wrong way?
The short shit, I don't really give a shit about that kind of stuff. I've been short my whole life. But, for me we had to do an interview right before my Aldo fight, and he's talking about putting balls on my head and, just being very unprofessional. And, this is something that, I made it personal. And for me, you don't fucking do that. This is a fight game. This is something where somebody could seriously, and that's what I'm looking to do when I get in there against Conor McGregor.
And my last question, you were probably assuming that he was going to make some kind of prediction on the fight. That's what he's been doing, really throughout his UFC career. He said that he's going to finish you in 4 minutes. And I guess I would just ask you, what do you think is going to be happening in the fight 4 minutes in?
Yeah, Connor, I'm going to give you a little more respect, buddy. I'm going to finish you within the first 3.
And we'll take our next question from Dave Diebert with Post Media News.
Hi, thanks you guys for the time. And Rory, same question for both of you. How much do you guys go and look back at the first fight? Do you take away from that, or is it so long ago, a couple of years, that it just doesn't necessarily amount?
For me, I don't really look at it at all. I've come a long way since that fight. I've just practicing new techniques and become a whole new fighter since then. And I'm focused on bringing a new attitude and just a better version of myself into the.
Robbie?
Yeah, I don't spend too much time watching and doing those kind of things. Just go out there and train every day and try to become a better fighter every day. So I'm just pushing myself, not too worried about who I'm fighting as much as I'm how I can grow and how I can dominate who I'm going out and facing. So,
for Connor,
Chad, you have
there's going to be a lot. I know it.
They ain't Chad. That's hit a spade here. They
want to face. People hate talk. They hate your
should have stayed home. Shouldn't have answered that phone. Yeah, that phone.
Okay, buddy. Keep talking.
All right, thanks you guys very much in Vegas.
And we'll take a question from Jack in Casino with Boston.
Can you tell us if you have any thoughts on what UFC can do to cut down on fight cancellations due to injury like this?
I don't really know. I don't really care about stuff like that. I just know I show up. I know I train smart, so I don't really care about how other people do that shit. You know what I mean? Just train smart, be intelligent. There's a lot on the line. No, you know what I mean? You need your circle of people that you came up with. That's who got you to this level that you're at now. Is the people day in, day out. It's not all of a sudden you've got a new opponent, so you need to bring in this guy or that guy. It's the wrong approach. Even the way Chad and his little team over there doing it, it's just a sign. It's just it's environment. Time after time, in second place.
You've talked about how you've suspected through the world tour that Jose Aldo, I think your words were, was looking. Can you on what signs you picked up on?
I said it already. It's when you look into a man's eyes, the eye can see it. It's only between you and I looked into his eyes and I knew this motherfucker doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want it the way I want it. So that was that.
And did you draw anything from the incidents during camp where Aldo provided a drug sample and then ultimately it was discarded? I know you called him a little weasel for that, and then he gave his explanation.
It was a little weasel move, you know what I mean? I showed up at the MGM and they dragged me and I got tested. I done blood, I done urine, no problem. Didn't make a fuss about it, got it done. Happy that the sport's getting cleaned up. First question, are they going to Brazil? They said, we're going to Brazil next week. He pointed to the guy that was going to Brazil. This guy is going to Brazil. I says, okay, that's good. So I carried on with my day, and then I hear that man went out to Brazil and ends up getting thrown in jail and fucking fines and all this crazy shit. It was a weasel move. So yeah, I called it as I saw it. You know, who knows whether that is the reason? Maybe he came off something. Maybe the body starts getting weaker. You know, you come off that stuff, the body gets weaker. I don't know, but who cares? He's gone running. You won't see him again. You know what I mean? He was beaten mentally before he was beaten physically. So it doesn't matter if he was on something or whatever. All that other stuff. It means nothing now. He's gone.
Conor, do you think Chad is a tougher fight than Jose?
I think Chad is the substitute, the B level. I think he's a wrestler with an overhand that gasses. You know what I mean? I think his body weight to his height, and his body is in disproportion, and I think that hampers him as a fighter. I think that's why he gasses and he gets that tiredness, and that's why when I'm pressing him, and we have these exchanges and these scrambles, and his belly is going to be, and his body is going to be screaming, and I'm going to be still there in his face, cracking him with everything I have, every shot, the heel, the knee, the elbow, the fist, every shot in the book I have, and that will be that. Eventually, he will give, like they all do.
Thanks.
I don't know how you're going to be pressuring anything from your back, dude.
So listen, what you going to do? You can't even pass guard. You're a white belt on the mat. What, you get me down, you hold me down, I'll butcher you from the bottom. I'll get back up and I'll butcher you on the feet.
All right, well, what jiu-jitsu? What are you going to do? You going to do the splits on me? Fucking, what do you think, you're Jean-Claude Van Damme, dude?
I'm going to kick you straight in the throat.
All right, dude, you're so tough. So tough. We'll see.
Thanks, guys.
And as a reminder, it is *1 if you'd like to signal. We'll take our next question from Peter Theodosu with News.com.
Hi guys, just a question for Conor. You mentioned before that you're interested in a stadium show, and with the Irish arena being too small, how UFC 193...
I didn't say the Irish arena was too small. That O2, the Point Depot in Ireland, is a phenomenal arena. The atmosphere and the sound. It's 9,500, but we make ourselves heard. 9,500 screaming Irish sound like 195,000. It's. I never said it was too small. It was Lorenzo who said it was too small for me. We want to do a stadium show. Well, yes, I do want to do a stadium show, but if you're coming back to my home city, I want to be on that card. I built this here. You know what I mean? I'm the one that put the UFC on the map here. So if you're coming into my hometown, you best believe I want on the show.
Okay. UFC 193 in November will be in Melbourne, Australia. With it sitting 4 months away in a popular market for fighters from the UK and Ireland, does a possibility of fighting at an Australian stadium show appeal to you?
Yeah, it does not appeal to me really, because it has no significance to me. It's the Dublin stadium I want. This is the dream. This is what I create. There's probably nobody on the roster that could fill a stadium right now, except me. So for you to take that and try and put me in another country to fill the stadium, it doesn't really interest me. When the stadium happens, it's in Croke Park. It's in Dublin, Ireland. It's in my home city. It's what I have built. It's what I have earned. So that's what I will get.
Thanks, Conor. Just one for Chad. You fought Jose in Brazil, and now you're going to fight Conor in probably an Irish hotbed in Las Vegas. How do you feel being the antagonist once again?
It doesn't bother me at all, man. This is I got a ton of people there coming to this fight, so I'm gonna focus on what I got to do. I'm gonna get in there. It's not like any other fight. I've done it. I've stepped in Brazil and fought Aldo twice there. You shut that out. You have the task at hand. You get in there and get it done.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
And we'll take our next question from Gus Ryan with Independence IE.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for your time. First question just to Conor. A lot of the media outlets reporting that you were the favourite against Aldo and you're an underdog against Mendes, and that's probably down to the wrestling of Chad Mendes. A lot of the social media posts, not a lot, but some of the social media posts that have come out from your camp recently have showed you working on your wrestling. How good is your wrestling compared to some of the US fighters who have you do it in college and in high school?
I am very confident that if we exchange in any grappling sequence, I have the ability to dominate him. I have my wrestling coach out here, Sergey. He is a multiple-time Moldovan champion. He has been with me my whole career since I'm 15 years of age. I have been training with Sergey. So he has been with me this whole camp, not just because the opponent change has been Chad. He has been out here since we have arrived in Las Vegas. So my whole team is out here. My team since day one. My team that have been with me from the beginning are all out here. My wrestling coaches, my stand-up coaches, my sparring partners, my jiu-jitsu coaches. My whole team.
And do you get a little bit tired of hearing that there is no wrestling or no decent wrestling in Europe, and that, you know, as soon as Conor fights a wrestler, he's going to get his toughest test yet?
No, this is part of the business. People, if people want questions answered, that's what makes money. You know, people are interested to see. So I am happy that people have questions. If they didn't have these questions, well then, you know, it wouldn't generate as much interest. So it's part of the game, and I'm okay with it.
And then just a quick one for Rory McDonald. Rory, you're a quiet enough guy, and you usually don't get involved in hyping fights. Have you been impressed the way Conor has taken to the hype machine and really brought attention to UFC 189?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Conor's good for the sport. He's making us all more money. You know, not just himself, but you know, there's more attention on the sport, on this pay-per-view, and you know, it's good for everyone, in my opinion.
And then lastly, Robbie Lawler, it's been said about you that in your training you don't do heavy sparring rounds. Is that the main reason that you've kind of had your second coming in your career? And do you think that's what's wrong with Jose Aldo and his camp, and you know that's the problem of why he seems to get injured an awful lot?
No, I spar a lot now. Ever since I moved down to American Top Team, I've been sparring. So I've been sparring for less than 2.5 years. That's why I've been able to make my run. I'm healthy. I just think it comes down to people not knowing their bodies, not listening, and having training partners who are beating them up a little bit more than they should. You should have guys you trust, guys who move around, and guys who push you every day. And it's you have to be smart out there so you can come in healthy. And I think people need to listen to their bodies. Some guys might be working too hard, pushing it too hard, and that's how you get broken down and beat down.
Great. Thanks a million, gentlemen. Thanks for your time.
And we'll take our next question from Stephen Morocco with USA Today.
Hey, Conor. I was wondering if you'd heard any hard numbers on the number of tickets sold to Irish fans, and maybe whether or not there's been any refund requests since the change in card.
No, it's the number I believe was 2,400 to 2,500 from Ireland in particular, but that doesn't factor in the Irish that are living in America and the Irish that are coming in from all other areas of the globe. But I believe 2,500 specifically from the island of Ireland purchased tickets, and like I said, it's the McGregor show. As long as I'm on the show, they will show up, and I look forward to putting on a show for my countrymen.
Stephen, this is Dave Schaller. I'm going to chime in there to support Conor in that statement. More than 20% of ticket sales have come from Europe, representative out of Ireland in particular. And at this present moment, there have been no substantial refunds to report.
Okay, thank you for that. And then, Conor, a quick follow-up. There's been a rumor going around on Twitter that you are undergoing PRP therapy for your knee. Is that accurate?
What is PRP?
I believe it's stem cell therapy, or it could be platelet-rich plasma. There's a variety of different treatments that go to rejuvenating the knee.
No, my body is good. My body is good.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
And we'll take our next question from Kel Dansby with Black Sports Online.
This question for Conor and Chad. Assuming, Aldo comes back sometime this fall and one of you guys will have to fight him to unify the title, would you be willing to take that fight in Brazil seen he's backed out of his last couple of U.S. appearances. Are you willing to then go down there and kind of, take the belt to his home turf and defend it down there, or would you request that he fight in the U.S. or somewhere else like Ireland? Connor, you can answer first. Go ahead.
Sorry, what, you found me there? What was the question?
Yeah, would you be willing to fight Aldo? If you win the title, would you be willing to go to Brazil to fight Aldo, or would you like to make him fight somewhere else if he's backed out of his
It's the McGregor division now. He bottled it. He went running. It's on my call now. So if he wants to come back with his tail between his legs, that's no problem. He can come back. We can do the stadium in Dublin. But it's on my call now.
I agree, man. I fought that guy twice in Brazil now. I'll get that belt. I'm fighting that dude in the States this time.
And last question for Robbie. You're the champion coming in here. You'll be the only undisputed champion come UFC 189, but you're flying under the radar. Does that give you, like, an advantage? You like kind of going under radar and having the calm instead of headlining the event?
It doesn't matter. It is what it is. I just stick to what I do. It's just training hard and concentrating on myself. Let the UFC do the promoting. Connor's doing a great job of promoting the fight. Mendes is coming in to fill in, and I think it's going to be a good fight. But I'm not too worried about that stuff. I concentrate on myself. I concentrate on getting my body stronger. I concentrate on getting my mind stronger so that I can go in there and put a show on July 11th and beat somebody up.
All right. Thank you, guys.
And we'll take our next question from Ariel Helwani with MMAfighting.com.
Hey, guys. Thanks for the time. First, just wanted to ask Chad a quick question. I know prior to the second Aldo fight, it got a little heated between you two. But would you say that you've never felt this way about an opponent, that it's never been this personal for you before a fight?
You would go there, huh, Ariel? You love stirring up shit, bro. No, man, this is a fight that I'm fucking super pumped to get in there and do, man. Like I said, 2 weeks notice or a day notice or I have a full fucking camp. I'm not turning this fight down.
Okay, and for Connor, I know that you've never actually faced off with Chad. You've never actually looked in his eyes. But when you hear that he says that, he was annoyed and disrespected by your comments on that BT Sports show, which was almost a year ago. Do you think that you're in his head? Do you think that this is a man that's treating this fight too personally, that's too emotional about it?
I don't really care about that. We're too close to the fight. None of this. It doesn't really matter. But I can hear a quiver in his voice there. I feel when it comes down to it and the shots are exchanged, I see him more as an athlete than a fighter, so I feel he will break in there. It doesn't matter whether the build-up has happened or not. We will get in there and he will break.
Nope. Thank you.
And we'll take our next question from Isaac Nowrozi with The Roar.
Hi, I've got a question for Robbie Lawler. The first time you fought McGregor, it was a split decision win. I know you said that it doesn't matter, but how important is it for you to get a more fight?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Okay, last time you fought Rory, it was a split decision win. I know you said that fight's in the past, but is it important for you to get a more decisive victory over him this time?
Yeah, I think that's always the plan. It's one thing I want to do. I want to go out there and finish people. I don't want to go out there and leave it up to the judges. I want to get in his face, either get a submission or knock somebody out. That's how I fight. I don't want to leave it up to the judges. So, yeah, I want to put a stamp on this fight.
Awesome, man. And a quick question for Rory, if you could, kind of answer that. You lost the first fight. Is it important for you to come in and kind of prove that you're a different fighter now than you were then?
I'm not really trying to prove anything. I'm just, I believe I have a new attitude. I've come a long way, and I feel at my best right now, and I'm just going to go in there and show that to the world. I'm just going to perform, and the rest will take care of itself.
And a quick one for Connor. But Chad predicted that he would finish you in 3. I know you love your predictions. Do you have a prediction for this fight?
If you had been listening, I said 4 minutes into the first round, he will be unconscious.
Thank you very much, guys.
We'll take our next question from Lee Ducey with Fairfax Media.
Question for Connor. Connor, Chad has, I guess, questioned your mental fortitude. You said that you have quit in you, referencing your last submission loss in 2010. I mean, do you rate those sort of comments considering that you've come a long way in the last 5 years?
No, I do not. I do not rate them. I know my growth, I know my work ethic, and I know where I have come in this game. And now I am in a position where I am invincible.
Thanks. And also, just with regards to, I mean, you're fighting for the interim belt. In a way, this might give more ammo to the people, I guess, that don't like you out there. They will say that, okay, fine, you're the interim champ, but you've just beaten a guy with no disrespect.
They'll always say something. Let me tell you, because you sound like one of them people. They'll always say something to try and discredit what I'm doing here. There's always going to be a question. The wrestler, you know, every fight there's a question. You know, now it's the wrestler question. You know, but no matter what happens, and now you're talking. There's going to be the interim question. Then when I smoke Chad, he's only had 2 weeks, and there'll always be something to try and discredit me. But at the end of the day, cash beats credit every day of the week, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to shut this man down, break that pay-per-view record, and cash them big, fat checks, and fuck everybody that's doubting me.
Question for Robbie. Robbie, it's your first title defense. How do you feel about, I mean, you're flying under the radar, but in terms of the promotion, it's almost like the first defense of your career is somewhat of an afterthought. How do you feel about that?
Does not bother me at all. I don't care if I'm the first fight, the last fight. I'm going to go out there and showcase my skills. I concentrate on myself. I let the UFC do all the promoting. I let all the media ask the questions they want to ask, and guess what I get to do? I get to go out there and showcase my skills. So that's what I concentrate on. Other than that, it just makes life easier when I concentrate on myself and what I can control. And what I can control is how hard I'm working and staying healthy so I can get to that fight by 11.
And we'll take our next question from Dwayne Finley with UFC.com.
Guys, these questions are for Robbie and Rory. Start with Robbie. You went from one of the roughest patches of your career to writing one of the most impressive chapters that I think arguably probably in the current era of MMA with the comeback that you've had. You're on the verge of defending your welterweight title, man. What's this journey been like for you, and what's it meant?
It's just a lot of hard work, finally paying off. It's a lot of never say die, always believe in myself, and this was hard work by my training partners and my coaches throughout the years, and but I'm not really concentrating on that kind of stuff right now. I'm concentrating on today, how I can get better today, so I can continue to write my story and beat people up and don't let this ride end.
Now, and has those, say, anybody who wrote you off during that stretch, in your comeback, there's been a lot of attention on you. Has that been any motivation for you, Robbie, to kind of prove to people that you still had this in you to do this?
No, I'm self-motivated. I don't need people to doubt me, for me to wake up and work hard every day and try to prove myself. That's inner strength that I have. I want to go out there and showcase what I'm capable of to all the people who believed in me, all my training partners who helped me out along the way. That's who I'm doing this for. I don't need any extra motivation from the naysayers.
Thanks, Robbie. Rory, this is you. You've been fighting grown men since you were a teenager. You've been competing against the best in the world for the last half of the decade. So now you're on the verge of potentially becoming world champion. What's this journey been like for you?
It's
awesome. I love what I do. I love my life, and I'm just going to continue to do what I like in my life. And it's been an incredible journey through martial arts for me, through my years as a teenager and growing up into a man with it. So it's been incredible, and I'm just focused now on having the best performance of my life and leaving it all there July 11th.
And throughout your progression in the UFC, you were labeled as kind of the heir apparent to this 170 crown a long time ago. But yet you showed a lot of patience as you made your progression. What's that process been like with you as kind of measuring your growth and patience and knowing when you're ready to make the step you're about to make?
Well, I knew that, it's when I got into the UFC, I knew I wasn't ready to fight for the belt. When I first got in, I still had a lot of growth, to do. I needed a lot of experience with top level guys, and it took time, but step by step, I gained that experience. I kept practicing techniques, developing new styles, and keeping an open mind as a martial artist, and I'm here. So and the road doesn't end here after this. It's the life of a martial artist it keeps going. After my career's over, and I'm still going to be training martial arts and growing in this. So
excellent. Thank you for your time. Thanks, gentlemen.
And we'll take our next question from James Ancobia with Zoo Magazine.
Thank you for your time, guys. Just a couple questions for Conor. Conor, you've already talked about it being an interim title, but would you say People's Champion is the one title you're undisputed holder of at the moment?
I don't really care about that either. It's the approval or disapproval of people is not something I pay attention to. It's not what I do this for. As far as I'm concerned, this is the real world title that's on the line. If Jose is afraid and won't show up, well then he's done. It's done with that now. Now this is for the real featherweight belt. So I don't label this an interim belt one bit. This is the real UFC featherweight world title.
Okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger has recently come out and said you're probably one of the greatest athletes around. When the Terminator co-signs you, do you care about that? He's half robot. Does that officially make you the baddest man walking around on the planet?
Arnold's an absolute legend of a man. I mean, his story, he came over to the United States of America absolutely butt naked. He couldn't even speak a lick of English. He became a Hollywood megastar. He became governor of California, and if he could speak, or if he was full breed American, he'd probably be president right now. So that man's an absolute legend, and he knows what he's talking about when he's talking about me. So it's an honor to hear them words from my friend Arnold.
Thank you. Just a question for you, Chad. How important is it for you to be the first man to shut Conor McGregor's mouth in the UFC?
This is huge, man. This is, like I said, this is a fight I don't turn down. I got the offer, and I said, give me that contract right away. So, this is a huge, huge opportunity. I'm not turning it.
And at this time, I'd like to turn the conference back over to Mr. Dave Scholler for any closing remarks.
Thanks, John. That does wrap up today's call. Before we go, I want to thank Chad, Conor, Robbie, and Rory for joining us. Also want to run through a couple of key initiatives taking place over the next few days so everyone's aware. Tonight on ABC, Ronda Rousey on Jimmy. She'll be talking about UFC 190 as well as International Fight Week. And then tomorrow on Conan, airing live tomorrow, Conor McGregor. He's in LA now taping, so that'll air tomorrow on Conan O'Brien on TBS. In addition, we have some media events to announce for you. Wednesday, July 8th, we'll have our official UFC 189 open workouts. They will start at 1 p.m. Studios A and B at the MGM Grand. It is free and open to the public. It features Mendes, McGregor, Lawler, and McDonald. Then Thursday, July 9th, starting at 11 a.m. Again, that's 11 a.m., different from our normal 1 o'clock start time. We'll have our UFC 189 and Tough Finale press conference. That'll start at 11 a.m. Ka Theater at the MGM Grand. And last but not least, head on over to UFCFanExpo.com. We just announced today the names of all the attendees of the UFC Fan Expo, everyone from Daniel Cormier to John Dodson to Dominic Cruz to Ariane Celeste, Bruce Buffer, CM Punk, and so on and so forth. So a great list of names. That's available at UFCFanExpo.com. See everybody real soon. UFC 189 draws closer next Saturday night, live on pay-per-view. Have a good day.
That concludes today's conference. Thank you for your participation.